Good morning, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me. Good morning. Good morning. Confirm you can hear me. Good morning.
Yes,
Morning.
yes, but your voice.
Good morning. All right. Sorry. All right. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time to join us today. On behalf of Kimberly Ryan Limited, I'd like to welcome you to our webinar on probation, confirmation, and early performance management done right. So if we're honest, probation is one of those processes that many organizations go through, but not always intentionally. Sometimes it becomes just like a timeline. So you just say things like, let's wait 6 months and see. And then before you know it, we are either confirming someone without clear evidence or having difficult conversations that could have been handled much earlier. So that's why we are looking at what we are looking at today. And then we have two strong men taking us today. Yeah. All right, so welcome again, everyone. So this is basically what we'll be looking at today. This is the objective that will be guiding today's training. So understand the true purpose of probation as a structured performance management process, not just a waiting period. Identify the risk and consequences of poorly managed probation practices. Apply a practical probation performance management framework. Conduct effective mid-probation reviews and make evidence-based confirmation decisions. Implement proper documentation practices to ensure fairness, defensibility, and transparency. And lastly, link probation outcome to long-term performance management and post-confirmation continuity. So these are the webinar objectives. So quickly, on my screen, you can see the outline. So of course, we'll do an introduction. We'll look at the problem with current probation practices, why poorly managed probation fails, what probation should be, benefits of well-managed probation, and so on and so forth. So basically, these are the outline for today. This is what we'll be looking at today. So during the course of this session, we would want you to please mute your microphones so that you won't disrupt the class. So please, like I can see some people's microphones are still unmuted. So please kindly just mute so that you won't disrupt the class or you won't divide the attention. So please mute your microphone. So if you have questions to ask, you can use the chat box to ask your questions, and you can also raise your hand and you'll be called upon to ask your questions. So with us, we have our first speaker, Chidima Adebayo. She's the People Service Manager of Kimberly Ryan. She's the People Service Manager for Kimberly Ryan. So she's a people and culture professional with experience across financial services, HR consulting, and professional services. She's currently the People Service Manager at Kimberly Ryan Limited, where she partners with business leaders to drive people strategy, performance management, and employee development initiative with a strong focus on building performance-driven culture. Previously, she served as people and culture partner at Blue Salt Financial Services, and so on. So so Chidima is very vast, she's very experienced, and I'm sure she's coming with like wealth of knowledge. So please sit back, relax, and listen to her as she speak. And again, we have Wilson Olubayo. Wilson Olubayo is the advisory manager at Kimberly Ryan. It brings over a decade of expertise, transforming human capital into a strategic advantage. It specializes in strategic HR planning, workforce optimization, and business transformation, delivering solutions that drive measurable impact across diverse sectors. So we have two sagacious, facilitators in the house, and I'm sure you will get 100% from this presentation. So please let's open our minds and let's get everything we can get from this session. So please, again, the next voice you'll be hearing will be that of Chidima. So please, if your mic is not muted, please mute your microphone so that you won't disrupt the class. Thank you. So the next voice you'll be hearing will be that of Chidima Adebayo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dayo, for that. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Just move on a 2% to confirm that video and audio is quite clear. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Pamela and Mem, for that. That was quite the introduction. We'll head on to why we're here today. I particularly love this topic because quite a number of leaders will tell you that a person's first few weeks within an organization sets them up for success within the organization, right? A good amount of what you do well within the first few weeks of an employee joining an organization determines just how well that person will do within the organization. Yes, this may not always be the case, but for a majority, I don't want to give a particular percentage, but for a majority of cases, this is what applies. So we are going to be talking about how to get the first steps of an employee joining an organization right. Right. So we're not going to be focusing on onboarding today. We'll be focusing on probation, confirmation, and how that ties into early performance management and eventually the overall performance management for an organization. Before we get started, I think I want to go into, so I was searching the history of probation and early performance and confirmation, how it came about and why it came about. And two things came up. So in medieval Europe, back then, when you had from your goldsmiths to different kinds of professions, right? When a master wants to bring a new apprentice on board, one of the first things that they do is they tell you, okay, you're going to have a 6 month training period. Yet you have the apprenticeship could be a 5 years training or a 3 years training or whatever number of years training the apprenticeship would be. However, there is a preliminary period of about, it could be 6 months, it could be 1 year, it could be 3 months, it could even be 6 weeks, depending on the master of that business. He would say, I want all apprenticeship or apprentices to go through this 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 month period. The purpose is just to confirm that they have the right character, right? Confirm that they are really interested. It's not just, oh, my mom or my dad or my guardian wants me to join this business or wants me to learn this particular service. So they come to that place. They want to confirm they have the right character. They want to confirm they have the right kind of interest that would make them be valuable to this master and potentially make them either start their own business on their own or get the master to hand over the business to that person, right? And in that period, again, we're confirming character, we're confirming interest, we're confirming fit. Does this person fit my business, right? And those were three of the key things that were what's it called, that were confirmed in the, we call it probation period now, we call it confirmation period now, right? But in over there, it was called just a pre-training period. Now, in this pre-training period, one of the things that the masters also do is put them through a number of tests to ensure that they can confirm these three key things that they do. According to the masters, you could teach even a little child the skills for that business, right? But it needed to be the right child. That was one common thing. You could teach a little child the skills for the business, but it has to be the right child. And the right child is the child that has the character, the resilience to stay through the training, learn all that needs to learn, and do well at the job. And the child that has the interest, that is really interested in this thing, because you can't pour water on a stone or you can't pour water on somebody that is not interested. You can't only take a horse to the stream, but you really cannot force the horse to drink the water. So that is how probation, that's how confirmation came about. And from medieval Europe, the medieval times, we're talking about from your 1600s, 1500s, 1700s, filtered into the 19th century. That system, when the Industrial Revolution came about, that filtered into what we have today. And to manage the risk of an organization, the probation and confirmation period was set in place to say, hey, welcome on board. We've interviewed you. We've seen you have the skills, or it seems like you have the skills, to do the great work that we're hoping you do when you join us. But let's confirm that you have the skills. Let's confirm that you have the character traits that fits us. Let's confirm that you will do well here. So once that confirmation, once the person has shown repeatedly, consistently through day-to-day work that they are able to do these things, that they're a good fit, that they have the character, the interest, and the capability. But what happens? Confirmation steps in, and the organization says, yes, this person is a bona fide part of us. I hope we got that part. I hope we got the what's it called, the history of how probation and confirmation um, came about. So just as it's put here, what probation, confirmation, and early performance management, structured process for setting clear expectations, providing timely feedback, making fair evidence-based confirmation decisions during an employee's early months in the organization. When an employee joins you, the first thing you want to do is clearly outline to them what is expected of them. First of all, of course, you need to give them a JD. A JD is a job description. This is what you will be doing on a day-to-day basis, right? And your expectations of them. By expectations, it's showing what the results of those day-to-day tasks would look like for the organization. So, and that's where you have your key performance indices. That's where they come into play, right? Your key performance indices are a picture of the result end for the organization. All right. So that's what this definition is saying here. First of all, set clear expectations. Now let's come to the reality of what we have on board. When an employee joins the organization, if you can just think back, or when you joined an organization, what was done for you within the first 3 months? Let me paint a picture. All right. Most times people join an organization, the first day you get your laptop, you get your ID card, you get any other tools that you need to work. You have meetings that are set up with different teams within the organization. So it could be the human resources team first. They run you through the culture, the mission, the values, the key things about the organization. And then you get to meet your own team lead that runs you through, okay, this is what we do, this is why we do what we do, this is how we do what we do, and this is the result that the organization expects to see within this particular period, right? These are our goals and all of that. That's one. Then you get to meet other teams. The other teams get to say, oh, we know you're not our team member, but this is why we do what we do. This is your own place in why we do, in what we do on a day to day, and all of that. That's typically what happens. And then at the end of all of those, we call them onboarding meetings, right? At the end of all of those individual team onboarding meetings, we call it a wrap. And the person starts on their desk the day-to-day work of what they're supposed to do within their team. Let's talk about the problem with this current practice. Number one, most times, once the person just gets started on their work, they let them know that in 6 months or in 3 months, depending, Nigerian labor laws advise on 6 months, but some companies, utilize whatever number of months is fit for the organization. It could even be 1 year. In 1 year, we are going to do confirmation for you. In 1 year, we're going to review your performance. Or in 6 months or 3 months, we're going to review your performance. So more or less, that period is treated as a waiting period up until, remember the former organization I worked with, they tell probation is done after 1 year. Or confirmation is done after 1 year. And they tell the first year that your name is written in pencil. Your name is written in pencil. So after the first year, once you've written that exam and you've done your confirmation, your name will now be written in Bible within the organization. All right. So it's just treated as a waiting period. What's another issue, right? Another issue is that you experience little to no structured feedback within that waiting period. Thank you, Pamela, for laughing with me. People are making me feel like I'm laughing a little. All right. So you experience little to no structured feedback during the 1 year or 6 months, a number of months period. Then you see surprise confirmation decisions. So a person joins an organization, they struggle, first of all. Perhaps they struggle to catch up with the flow of what is going on within the organization. They struggle to catch up with the fast-paced delivery expectations. They struggle to catch up with certain goals that have been drafted out for them. So, but in their own mind, I know it's a bit of a struggle, but I'm trying. In their mind, they're trying. They're showing up. They're putting in the effort. They may not be getting the exact results, but they're trying. They're working. They get some feedback. Maybe during a meeting, it's requested, hey, what's going on with this deliverable for this client? And they say, oh, I experienced this challenge. We've only gone halfway. We've only done 30%. This is it. And the manager says, I expected you should have done this. But okay, let's do this. Let's do this. The person notes those what's it called? The person notes those what's it called? Requests or responses from the manager and says, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to deliver it at this time. And that's close. So in the person's mind, they're trying. So when confirmation date comes and then they see a review on their form that shows that their performance was either abysmal or it was far below expectations or it barely met expectations, they're surprised because they did their part. The entire thing is a surprise to them. Why does this happen? Little to no structured feedback. You gave feedback on the go, minimally. However, there were no times where it was, review sessions were detailed and you sat down with this employee to give them feedback that can help them make improvements and for progress to be made, right? Then the last one is costly and unfair outcomes. What's a costly outcome? We hired someone, we've gone through the process, we've waited for them to resume, they've resumed, we have deliverables and timelines already set out for the year, they barely met any of this, the year or a good chunk of the year has passed, we've gotten to confirmation decision, and we have to let this person go. That's either 6 months or 3 months or 1 year or whatever number of months down the drain. We can't bring it back. So it is really a costly process when we don't do it right. Now, why poorly managed probation fails? Number one, employees unclear on expectations, just as was detailed. The expectations, sometimes the person doesn't even get to see their appraisal form until, let's say they joined the organization in January and the appraisal periods are, say, let's say, and the company practices twice a year appraisals, right? That's the appraisal structure, right? And the first cycle ends January to, first cycle runs January to June. So in June, our appraisal is done. Second cycle, July to December. So in December, an appraisal is done. So the person joins in January and they don't even get to cite the appraisal form up until June when the appraisal cycle is about to start or when the appraisal process is about to start. So unclear expectations, not well outlined expectations, issues identified too late. A manager or a supervisor is trying to swallow it. This person just joined, let's give them a bit of grace, a benefit of doubt, and they don't mention that these are the challenges I'm experiencing. This is what we need to do, and this is how we need to go about it. Wasted productivity, legal and ethical risk. This one is such a challenge. Now, probation fails because, legal and ethical risk implies that, again, when surprise condemnation decisions happen and people feel unfairly treated, the risk for you. When they are given an exit, they can go to the industrial court and challenge all of this. So if you have not outlined the process, if you have not outlined the process to them, if you have not outlined what it is that you expect of them, document it. If you did not document, performance issues, none of this, there's no documentation to any of this. This person can literally go to court and possibly win a motion against the company because nothing was communicated properly to them. So what should probation be like? Just as we've discussed, there has to be structured evaluation period. And structured evaluation period doesn't mean join the company on week one, give you a confirmation or run a confirmation appraisal month 6. No, that's not. Structured means that there are timelines to certain things that will be done. We'll see it as we go ahead. Opportunity for development. So when this person is mentioned that, oh, okay, performance is not going so great, but here are the opportunities. We'll potentially send you on this training, or here's the coaching that will be provided to you. Here's the guidance that will be provided to you so that you can improve. Clear standards and expectations. Clear standard, I mean, this goes without saying, right? Everything is clear from the very first day. Fair confirmation decision. This person sees, number one, I received communication all through the period of this confirmation period, and these are the kinds of confirmation these are the kinds of communication I received. It was communicated to me that I need to improve in this. It was communicated that I'm dropping the ball in this. It was communicated to me that I need to do this, and this. So at the end of the day, when they see their confirmation appraisal, all of that is reflected, whether the improvement or whatever the case is reflected on that confirmation appraisal. The person is well carried along, so they know this is fair. Benefits of well-managed probation: better hiring confidence, clarity for employees, early issue resolution, things are tackled as they come, and then fair and defensible decisions. Right, next slide, please. So, probation performance management framework. What's the first thing that we do? Onboarding. During onboarding, how do we tackle setting the clear guideline? In fact, if I'm to say, I'll say the entire work starts before the employee joins the organization. Have the what's it called? The JD well detailed. Review it, ensure that it's up to date. Have it well detailed. Have KPIs well set. Have an appraisal form ready for that person to review from day one, or as soon as you can give that person to review. So onboarding and expectation is well set out from the get-go, and then continuous feedback is given. We'll see in the next slide the period to which, an advice period to which you can give this continuous feedback. Final review and confirmation. That's the last. Next slide, please. Let's quickly look at what I'm talking about. Okay, stage one, onboarding and expectations. What do? You set performance objectives. All right, and this is what we say. Some of your indices, your performance indices, right? This is what we expect you to do. This is what it would look like when you eventually do it, right? You clarify behavioral expectations as well. So it's not just the goals on the job, it's also collaboration is key to us, communication is key to us, all of the behavioral expectations that you should be detailed, and it should be captured. There's a behavioral element that should be captured on your performance appraisal form. It's very important. Define deliverables and success criteria. Oh, in month one, this is what it will look like. This is what we expect for you to have done. By the end of 3 months, this is what we expect for you to have done, right? Deliverables are very clear. Success criteria, very clear as well. Explain feedback schedule. Have a feedback schedule. This is one thing that is missing in a number of organizations. Literally book your feedback meetings on calendar from day one. So if you want to put a 2-week meeting, if you want to put a 6-week meeting, you want to put a 3-month meeting, whatever works for your organization, but set them so that this person expects it and then they can work in line with it. Why expectation setting matters. No clarity, no accountability, right? If clarity is not there, you can't hold the person accountable. Because where do you want to start? It's only things that you mentioned during the meeting, which sometimes we know that the mind can forget some things. All right. It prevents misunderstanding. Absolutely. It sets a foundation for fair review, just as we discussed. Every single time your employee should not walk away from review meetings.
This list seems to actually
hi, like mute.
Of sales
employees should not walk away from review meetings feeling feeling a certain kind of way, feeling like I don't think my work is being appreciated. This person is not seeing the effort that I'm making. This person is not. Most of those times it happens because things were not clearly stated from the beginning. It aligns employees with roles. This person knows exactly what they are doing and they know exactly what's expected of them and they're willing to work in it. Another reason, there was one before this. I don't know if you jumped it, but no problem. No problem. You can go to the next one. All right. So this is what a continuous feedback and channel could look like. Your first formal check-in could happen at the end of month 1 or at the end of 2 weeks, right? So your first feedback, you have your notes, or you're able to detail at the end of the meeting the minutes on what was discussed, or how is it going? What are the challenges that you're experiencing? You were expected at the end of month 1 to do this. Which of them have you done? Which of them have you not done? All of that is discussed and decisions are made on what, and this is documented. An email is sent. we need to come to a place, if especially as Nigerians, where we know that, when we have reviews and performance is discussed, whether it's a positive or negative. By negative, I mean not so positive. Like when you're told that, look, you're not performing as I expect you to perform, people should know that we are not beating you in those meetings. These meetings are for communication to be very clear and to help you as a person improve. So it's very important that your tone and how communicate and how entire communication goes, it's done properly, so that that person leaves that meeting recharged. Yes, I may not be doing so well, but here are the things that are clearly defined for me to do so that I can get better. So that at the end of month 2, when we're having this meeting again, it's going to be fantastic. I'll be getting some well done. I'll be getting some recommendations of what I have improved on, right? So it should be a meeting that charges the person to do better. A mid probation review. That's if your probation is a 4 months, or define it. Again, these things are not cast in stone. It should be defined according to what is obtainable for your business, right? Address concerns early and document feedback just as detailed. Next slide, please. Mid probation review. What should your mid probation review look like, right? Access progress best objectives, just as was discussed. These were the objectives we shared with you on your first day of resumption or on your first week of resumption. What's the progress like on it? Identify gaps early. So what are the gaps that you've experienced? Oh, I didn't have this tool. Oh, I didn't get this support that was promised from day one. Oh, I had these challenges with this client. Those are discussed, and then they can be tackled immediately in that meeting. Activate improvement plan if needed. Agree on actions and timeline. All of this well documented. Right? We already showed you four key areas that you can use to tackle your mid-probation review and to document. Right? So when you're documenting, don't just say, oh, I had this meeting with this person. Let it follow each of these key areas. Why expectation setting matter. Again, we don't want surprises at the end of 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. We don't do that here. All right. We want well-reviewed and well-documented performance. Okay. We want to be able to make evidence-based decisions. When the person has done well, is recording going to be dropped? I would allow the team respond to that. I'm not quite certain, but they would respond right after my session. Okay, so we want to ensure that evidence-based decisions are being made, both by me from mid-level management, from HR to senior management. It needs to be clear to everybody. This person is doing well, they should progress on to this. This person is not doing so well, let's move them to this. But this person is not doing so well, we've created improvement plans, they are not doing well, so we need to move on to an exit decision. So decisions are very well and the evidence decision needs to be made. Then, of course, just like I said, we need to go on. Are we going to confirm this person? Are we going to extend the improvement plan? Or are we going to discuss an exit plan for this person based on all that we have seen? Next. Okay, just as we said, what are the 3 possible outcomes that would happen from confirmation, from your probation period and your confirmation? First one, you've done well, you met expectations, so you will be confirmed. Well done, right? You've not done so well. You've made some improvements in this area. However, we're still experiencing lapses in this area. There's still these and these gaps. This part of your improvement plan, we've not seen much progress in it. So let's extend this performance improvement plan. That's what you typically call your PIP. Let's extend this performance improvement plan by so months. These are the conversations about these are the, so after 1 month, we'll check in with you, or after 3 months, we're going to check in with you, and we're going to circle back to everything that was discussed, and we're going to document the progress that has been made. All right, all of this is well discussed promptly with both the employee in question and management. Lastly, the third outcome is consistent on the performance. We've tried everything, we've literally thrown our hands on deck, we've tried everything, and this person is just not a fit for us character-wise. They're not able to do the work, and they're not delivering value as expected. So we need to let this person go. So that's the last outcome. think this is where my part of the job ends. I hope we've been able to see a good, clear picture on number one, why probation even came about in the first place, and why it's important that we do it right to help our organization mitigate any risks that could come up from challenges upfront, and to help our employees, grow within the organization and do really, really well at the job that we're hiring them to do. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Wilson.
All right. Thank you, Chidima, for that first session. So, Wilson, would like you to take it from here. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chidima, for laying the foundation for me. This is really. Hope you can hear me, please. Can you confirm if you can hear me? Oh, okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. So, why does continuous feedback matter during the stages of probation, confirmation to performance management? Why does it matter? Now, imagine a scenario where an employee comes in to a company, and he's trying to adjust to the system, coming from a different sector, right? Fine, he has a good work ethic. He's not properly delivering on his tasks, and not because of his lack of competence now, but because he's trying to adjust to the system, the culture, the way of doing things. It could even be just as simple as writing an email. It could be a way of client engagement, right? So imagine that scenario, and imagine if no proper feedback was given at the end or at the beginning of his state up until the end of the probationary period. Now, there's a problem there. So continuous feedback always matters, right? So some of these things actually cascade down to how an employee is being onboarded, he's been taken through the stages of the probationary period, he's been taken through the ethics of every company, right? All these matters in an employee's life cycle, right? So why continuous feedback matters? It matters because it prevents one, it's the long wait, the 5 to 6 months wait is a silent underperformance, right? So he's not performing, not because he doesn't know, right? Not because he knows, right? And the manager has not communicated that, but because he's unaware that his approach is actually different from what the company expects, right? So we look at giving employees a chance to improve, and that is done via communication, steady communication, consistent communication, right? It could be a one-on-one, it could be a 30-month review of your work ethics and everything. It also improves fairness, right? So you are looking at being a balanced approach to employee growth. Coming into a new company, adjusting to the culture, adjusting to his teammates, adjusting to the workload, right? Adjusting to the work ethics in general. So these are what continuous feedback speaks to, and also protects productivity. So like I mentioned before, his work is actually his skill sets are not to be questioned, but in terms of how he approaches his work, that's where the question is. So an employee like that is definitely going to lack in productivity overall in the eyes of the company if he's not properly given the right feedback. I usually love rephrasing it as a feed forward, because usually we're looking at hope you can hear me, please. Okay. All right. So we're looking at ways to actually improve productivity for the employee. So next slide. And some of the effects of not giving delayed some of the effects of not giving steady or continuous feedback. These are some of the effects, right? Some of the risks that the employee actually poses, right? The employee assumes a performance is fine. He goes on his work, and at the 90th or 60th day, he's told that, oh, okay, sorry, you don't fit into our structure. No, sorry, and all that. Now it's putting the company at risk. It's putting the employee at a very odd end, because employees are actually are prone to actually escalating this kind of effects to to the industrial court, right? So there are also delays of organizational absorbs poor results, like your manager or your line man or your line lead is not communicating this, and eventually it translates into a very a slow productivity pace for the company and for that unit. And definitely the exit decisions actually still come into play when continuous feedback is delayed. Okay. All right. So taking this into cognizance, we're looking at what should be done for every manager to actually make this a very structured and a very well defined process, right? So we're talking about documentation. So why does documentation matter? Documentation matters because one, you can actually, create fairness, a balanced playing field, right? We have records of not just the areas of error. No, we're also looking at areas of high impact, areas of excellence. So I know that most times employees and employee manager scenario is always, at the end of, oh, we are not the areas of error where he actually falls. No, it's not supposed to be like that, right? Documenting employees' performance, it's both ways, both on the area of excellence and also on the areas of improvement. So everything has to be documented. So I always believe that what is not documented is not doesn't happen, right? So if there's no document to show that this actually happened, then it doesn't exist. Confirmation should not be automatic. It should not be automatic. It should not be based on perception. It should not be based on, oh, I like the way he dresses. Oh, I like he comes in on time regularly. Oh, I love his smile. No, it shouldn't be. It should be based on all the key performance indicators, right? Not just skill set, right? So when you're coming into a company, they're all definitely you're giving a scorecard. Most companies now even do that in their JD. I see that some companies are actually, evolving, sending out their JDs for open roles. You're seeing your key performance indicators, right? So what is going to be measured, how you're going to be measured over time, the scorecard for each. Some even add that in their second stage or in the stages of the interviews to show the employee what are the success areas, what success areas look like for them. Yeah, so confirmation should not be automatic, right? It should be about time served. It should be about the efforts put in. It should be about the outcomes, the deliverables, and there has to be an evidence to that performance. Also, behavioral alignment also matters to how well you fit into the culture. In companies where you see an employee, acting odd or acting against the norm or the culture, then that's a flag. That's a red flag. And sometimes it's supposed to be, highlighted it's supposed to be highlighted at that early stage, the onboarding stage, the probationary period stage, where an employee is molded in the culture. So this is not about what you do. This is not about your skill or your competence. It's about how well you fit into the growth plan of that particular organization that you are currently working in, right? Okay. Yes, next slide. So how do we link probation to performance management? I love using a case in point with a client that I'm currently interfacing with. He believes that have a certain level of competence, right? So he doesn't need an extensive period of probation for that employee. He wants a very limited, probably just say about 3 months, 3 to 6 months, adjusting. So for him, the probationary period is adjusting to the work culture, right? So he believes that you have gotten to a certain level in your career that you are not talking about, do this right or do it. That is, you've already been molded in that. So what he's expecting for you is, okay, you are adjusting to the work ethics of that. And work ethics, I'm talking about the culture. I'm talking about how you adapt to the workload, right? He's expecting that in terms of the probationary period. So that is how we link performance. And for him, that will be linked to the performance in the long run, right? So probation is the first chapter. That's, you are getting to know the system, how it works, how employees interface, how they collaborate. Oh, okay, is this solely on my table or is passed around? Then the transition to continuous feedback. How often do we get these check-ins, right? Is it going to be weekly? Is it going to be every day, or is it going to be maybe twice in a week, or bi-weekly? all that has to be set out, how that has to be cleared by your team, by your management, right? So maintain a check-in monthly or weekly check-ins. Now that builds your performance habits. So performance habits are not just solely based on, oh, I have this skill, oh, I'm untouchable. No, it should be how well you can actually adapt to new systems, right? How we can adapt to a different kind of culture, right? So not coming from a very structured system going to an unstructured one, right? Sometimes it's difficult for employees to actually adjust to that. But you have standards, you have how you've structured your own work life, right? So if that is a habit, coming into a new place, you have a body, underscore what is obtainable there. See how well you can actually optimize and see how well you can actually create impact. I usually love using an SBI model for a performance management. So we look at the situation, right? The S stands for situation, the B, the behavioral, Y, the I is the impact. So all of this from the situation to how you respond, your behavior towards that situation, and the overall, the long term, the impact of such a situation overall. Okay. Okay. So post-confirmation continuity, how do we leverage on this post-confirmation, and how do we maintain that moving into the post phase, the post confirmation phase of that employee? Now we've gone through the whole process of getting to know the values, getting to know how well you fit into our structure, getting to know your skill set, getting to know areas of improvement through our daily check-in. Now, how do we optimize? So for this area, I usually look at it at the optimization stage for every employee. So now we're not looking at fit into our culture again. We're not looking at the attitude, we're not looking at the behavior, we're not looking at the skill set, we're looking at how to optimize all this, right? And also looking at career mapping. So for this stage, I look at it like this is your growth phase for every employee. Every employee looks at this. For me as a manager, I look at this phase as a growth phase for every employee. So we are building your career. We already know this is where you are. So where do you want to be in the long term? This is the career path. This is the path that you lay for yourself in terms of your career growth, in terms of how you actually optimize your skills and make your skills very relevant. So regular check-ins matter. Your monthly reviews, it's absolutely non-negotiable. We actually have the quarterly assessments. This can actually be refined to either a weekly or bi-weekly, depending on the organization or the structure of how the assessment is done there. And then we also have this continuous and ongoing development for every employee, because for this area, we're no longer looking at, if you fit in. Yes, you fit in, you've been confirmed, you've passed through our stages of adoption, and currently you are now with us. So how well do you improve this business? How well do you grow our company to the next level? So this is where post-confirmation speaks to. Next slide. Okay, so in all this, what are the managerial responsibilities? How are managers supposed to manage a new employee or team lead? So this is captured as manager, but you can actually be team lead and managing your subordinates or even a supervisor. So number one mistake that managers actually make is they either like the person, right? They like his, he's a very chatty person. He smiles a lot. He's very jovial and all that. And in terms of methodology, they call it the halo and the halo horn effect, right? So the halo is it's just a vibe you get from that person, not related to performance, not related to culture fit. Then the horn effect is, okay, there's a trait about that person that you don't like. So those things are some of the mistakes that some managers make, right? So how do we correct that? Managers are supposed to, give feedback regularly, and it has to be tailored to the business. And when I say the business, I'm not just speaking to just the skill set alone. I'm looking at how the employee fits into that company or that structure, right? So, and managers should actually take ownership, right? So ownership is a key bit that most managers, actually falter in that they always shift the bulk of the responsibility or the bulk of the blame to downlines. That should not be. Sometimes ownership is actually key. Those are the responsibilities. Then also document every decision that was made. Every decision that was carried out has to be documented. There has to be an evidence of what happened and the response to what happened, the support that was given to what happened, and all that. So we're looking at coaching and support, right? So you're not just only a manager, you are also a mentor, you're also a coach and a support to your employee, to that employee as he comes on board. And also overall, we have to make fair decisions that actually support the growth of the employee, that supports the business overall, that supports your team's performance as a manager. Yeah, okay. So next slide. So common managerial mistakes. I highlighted a few bit. Avoiding difficult conversations, waiting until confirmation stage, which is not actually ideal. It's actually puts the employee at risk and also puts the manager too at risk, right? So when I say put the manager at risk, there's some very unsettling employees that probably take this up, after a 6 month span, leaving their previous company, joining the company, and you tell them at the end of the 6 months or 90 days that they're not fit, and this feedback is coming towards the end of it. So it puts them at odds crossing, and it's not really ideal for every business or every manager to have to give feedback at the end of the day. So continuous poor documentation too. There are some mistakes that most managers actually make, and it's something that we can actually change moving forward in our various workplaces. Okay, next slide. Okay, so what are some of the best practices to be adopted by every team in terms of the steps, the probation, the confirmation, and the performance management? Number one, to be specific and be timely. So if a task is given, it has to be a timeline to delivering on that task. And without no timelines, without no specificity of your role, of your deliverables, it's an open field, right? So anything comes, anything goes. You accept anything and everything. So that's not supposed to be. So you have a structure. You have to be specific about what is to be delivered and how it's to be delivered, right? So usually, sometimes performance bonuses are actually given not just to the outcome, but how the outcome was gotten. So the process to getting that outcome can actually be rewarded for some companies. Also, we also focus on the behavioral part of it, which is part of your KPIs for every company. So how did this person fit into our our culture? How does it fit into the work life with us here in our company, right? Is the person does he balance collaboration with proactiveness? Does he support when needed? Does he agree on actions, or does he have a very laissez-faire attitude to work, right? So all these things fall into best practices for every managerial employee kind of relationship. And also there's also a follow-up consistently, which we've spoken at length at that the continuous feedback, which shouldn't just be one-offs. It should be consistent. Consistent actually makes an employee improve, not just in work, but also it can be cascaded to life too. So how do we get started? Set expectation on week one. So I mentioned before that some companies actually adding that to their JDs now. When you see job roles, they add what is expected, right? So they add what does success look like, the success criteria for each of the employee that is or possible employees that's going to be coming on board, right? So set expectations should be tied to the business goals, which should cascade that down to your OKRs and your individual KPIs, right? Schedule a month or two, 1 and 2 reviews, and it can even be weekly. It can even be weekly or bi-weekly. it actually helps not just the manager, it helps the employee too, and it also helps the manager to understand the how the employee actually takes work, his approach to work. Also, we also mentioned documenting every single feedback. It actually helps us track, the progress of every employee. Also, prepare your final review evidence, right? So this is what helps in terms of confirming that employee and making sure that employee actually fits into the overall scheme of the business. So what are our takeaways? Our takeaways for today, as probation is a developmental phase. It starts from the first day the employee is being given the offer up until the day the probationary period ends. And also, I love to add the fact that usually when we when we have employees coming, they should communicated. We have I have a model we call a clear framework or a clear model. Clear in terms of the C for communicating your KPIs from the very onset, right? So, and those KPIs are tied to the business goal or the objectives of the company, right? Then link, L is for the link, right? L link that employee to a body or a mentor that actually helps them, adjust very seamlessly to that work environment. The E is for the evaluate. Evaluate a 30 to 60 to 90-day period of that employee. Then the A is advice. Definitely, as a manager, you are tasked to always advise and put the employee through his the daily flow and making sure that he's on track in terms of expectations. Then the R is resolve, right? So resolve by looking at, okay, is this person fit to confirm? Oh, okay, these are the areas of improvement. And also, I must add here that extending a probationary period should not be more than once. So extension should be just once for patients for that 60 to 90, 30 to 90 days period. Also, feedback must be continuous. Documentation is there. It's key for all of this. Confirmation and true performance, right? So not just perception, not just a feeling, right? So it should be earned via performance, and the performance should cover all areas, not just what is on your JD in terms of your workload, also how the person fits into that culture and also fit into the long-term goals and the long-term plans of that particular company. Next slide. Okay, so in closing, well, I would advise that we don't wait months for feedback in terms of giving employees the feedback, right? So I believe that every business grows with its people, right? So when the feedback is very poor or when the feedback is weak, the culture is shaky, right? If the performance management is silent, then the growth of that employee is actually stagnant, right? So we need to actually be proactive as managers, as team leads, as supervisors to actually be proactive in giving employees the necessary and the adequate feedback when and at that time, right? Giving it timely, it's actually very key for every employee's growth and every employee's success in every company, right? Thank you for joining in. So we'll take questions and feedback now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Wilson. Thank you, Chidima, for that insightful facilitation. So yes, so we have some questions on the chat box. Okay, let me see. Okay, then we have a question from Ugochukwu Osuji. So he's asking, what can employee do when, despite all these processes and structures are in place, and yet he or she does not get any communication regarding their status? Has it done well enough to be confirmed? It needs to do more. So period is extended, or they will be let go. This is very prevalent in mid-sized one-man organization. So this is a question from the procedure. So I don't know if Chidima wants to take it or Wilson.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, can anyone hear me?
Oh yes, we can hear you. Okay, Chidima. All right.
Yes. Okay. To respond to this question,
I know that can be a very tough situation for any employee to find themselves, right? But one of the ways to navigate that is just what we shared. I know a lot of the things that we shared lies in the desk of the HR manager. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that my face was like that. Lies on the desk of the HR manager and the line manager to, when we say documents, when we say have meetings, have structured feedback, a lot of it lies between the HR manager and the line manager. However, if you find yourself in a place where there's no such structure, it's important that you do it for yourself. It's important that when feedback is being given to you, you send an email, right? A minute email. It could be brief minutes. Thank you for sharing this feedback regarding my performance on so and so project. I'm committed to ensuring that improvements are being made in so and so area over the next 1 month, 2 months, or 6 weeks, whatever amount of period. I would ensure to do 1, 2, 3 based on what has been discussed, right? And then even if it even at the end of that period, whether it's 1 month or 6 months, if you can set your calendar, I mean, these things I'm saying, to be very honest, it's tough to do. But this is, remember, one of the reasons we said all of this is being done, but probation, confirmation, early performance management is risk mitigation. Risk mitigation is not just on the part of the employer; it's also on your own part as employee. It's going to protect you. So if somebody wakes up in 6 months' time or 1 year time, say you've not done anything, you have not all the things we have given you to do. You haven't. I have given you this feedback. I have given you this feedback. You didn't improve. You have evidence. You have emails. You have documents to be able to say, but this also was discussed. This was what I did. This is the feedback that I gave. So you were able to protect yourself as well. So you may need to do it for yourself. So whatever, at the end of that period, based on the feedback that was given to you, or based on the email that you're sending, you can go back to that email trail and say, hello, so and so person. I just want to say thank you again for providing the feedback you did to me over a month ago. Since our conversation, I've been able to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever number of things you've been able to do. And I've also noted that there's been an improvement in my ability to so. Just want to say thank you again for your help in ensuring that I improve in my work and deliver a good job. Kind regards. Move on, right? So that's some protection for you. If, however, you've done all of this and certain challenges still come up, or certain leadership members still come up to say, to accuse you, or to say we need to extend your period of confirmation, and there's no basis for anything. It's clear you've done your part, you've provided feedback, you've documented everything. However, no support is provided to you, and you're still looking to extend your confirmation. Then you would need to plan an exit. You would need to begin to plan your exits. That's what I advise. And move on to an organization that provides the structure that is needed for you to do well as an employee. Okay, I hope that's clear and hope that answers your question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chidima. There's another question from Ogechukwu. Yeah. For organizations with large hiring, what would you suggest as an effective way to manage and ensure structured feedback? For organizations with large hiring, what would you suggest as an effective way to manage and ensure structured feedback? Yeah.
Wilson, do you want to go on that, or you want me to?
Oh yes. So for organizations that have high large hiring, right? For them, there is a structure on ground. Basically, we have or they have a structured system that actually appraises every employee intermittently in terms of each of their job roles, each of their culture fit, each of their attitudes in terms of how they take work, in terms of their process adjustment and process flow. It's actually streamlined into how the company actually outlines key performance areas, and also for them, it's not oh, we're doing everyone at a go, right? They're actually paired in teams. I've had cause to actually liaise with employees with a large following before, and my engagement are usually with the supervisors or with the managers, right? So how well are you taking your team along? And for these new entrants, how well have you assessed them, and what is the the level of feedback you're getting from them, and how continuous is this assessment looking like in terms of the business or the business objectives? So everything has to be structured in terms of that company. So, and it's peculiar to each of the companies though. So it's not just a one size fits all for every company. Hope that answers the question, Ugo.
Okay.
All right.
Can I also add something?
Okay.
Listen, thanks a whole lot for that, right? Just as Wilson said, every company has to find what works for them. So as an organization, like I said, one of the first things, like we mentioned during the training, one of the first things that you need to do is discuss before the employee even comes on board what is going to work. So if a lot of these things you may not be able to handle it as a HR team, you may need to sit with the line manager, right? So you would need to set up those meetings. If it's one structured feedback, if you can't do 2 before the confirmation period, if you can't do 3, if it's 2, you can do. If it's 1, if it's 3, you need to set it up on the calendars, either the day the person arrives or the persons that join the team arrive, or you need to do it before they even join the team. So once you do this, and then you set in that meeting, right? You detail in that, sorry, when I say meeting, I mean like you sent a meeting reminder, calendar reminder, and you've detailed, dear so and so, and then this is to notify you that there will be a structured feedback meeting. This meeting is seeking to remember the 4 areas that we talked about. If you can remember those 4 areas, you can write in the comment section. Let me give you an assignment, right? This meeting is seeking to address this, just 4 areas, right? And so people know that it's going, and you let them know that this meeting is only going to take 10 to 15 minutes of your time. And you send a reminder before then. It's possible. It's very possible to do. And it helps to, like I said, mitigate risk, ensure that people are on their tools and doing a fantastic job, right? So even with a large hiring, you can make this work, right? There are also other systems that you can review, whether it's a joint review session between teams. Let's say you have a team of 100 employees within a department. You hired, you did a bulk hiring, or you have a team of 50, or you have a team of 30, and individual feedback systems may be a bit tough to track. However, you can do a joint one. So these are the goals that we expected or detailed at the beginning. So we you discuss with the hiring manager, you discuss with the line manager. This is the meeting that is going to be had at so time, right? Whether it's 2 or 3, like I said. And then these are the things that are going to be reviewed at that meeting. The thing is, as the HR person, you oversee that entire process. So you need to make sure that it happens, and you need to get feedback. So you can make the system more, you can adapt the system to what works for your organization. You can adapt the system to, people do not really like writing, and it's difficult sometimes to get employees to fill several forms and all of that. But there are things that you can do. You can use AI tools, you can, whatever works to ensure. Remember the goal. We want our people to perform more. We want to give them feedback. If it's joint feedback, we can give as a team. If it's individual feedback, which is better, right? But whatever it is that we can do to ensure that our people are doing well and they get the feedback that they need to ensure that their growth is tracked, their progress is tracked, and improvements are being made to address any gaps that is noted. Okay, covers that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chidima. Because of our time, I don't know if we have any other person that has like maybe one more question, and then we wrap up. Or if not, I want to thank you all for joining. So the webinar, this session has been insightful for everyone this year. So my colleague will be dropping. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, so my colleague will be dropping the form that we want you to fill, the feedback form. So please do that fill the form, and once you've done that, you can then log off. Also, there'll be on that link that we posted, so that you can follow us on our social media pages. So if you have so that you can be cognizant with some things that we do, our services, our webinars, and the like. So just please click on these links and proceed. Thank you. So once you fill this form, you can then log out. So just say you've done. You can just type on the comment section that you've done this, and then you can log out. So thank you everyone for joining. We look forward to seeing you in our next webinar. But please, before logging out, make sure you fill the form. Yes. So yes, the slides and the recording will be shared to you. We share to everyone that joined. So yes, you'll be getting it. Thank you. So please fill the form, follow us on our social media pages. Yeah, thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Pamela. Yes. Yes. So please, once you've done that, you can just type on the comments on the chat box that you are done. Fill the the link has been shared. So please click on the link and give us your feedback. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm doing it has been shared. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So Pamela, yeah, the link has been shared. Just click on the link and give us your feedback. Your feedback is very important to us. Yeah. Can you please share the link again? I didn't know you can see it. Pamela can see it. Please share the link again. The link to the form. All right, thank you. So these are our handles, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and X, Twitter. So please just click on this link and follow us on our social media platform. Yeah, so that you can see what we do. You can see also. Thank you, Mike D. Thank you for your feedback. So please, yeah, you can log off. So please just click on the link and then log off. Click on the link, give us a feedback, and then you can just type it that it's done, and then you can log off afterwards. Thank you. All right, thank you, Ogechukwu. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Gladys.